What up gamers, I'm Jason and today on Dice & Dragons I'm going to be unboxing EXO Mankind Reborn. This game is published by Plastcraft Games and designed by Diego de la Torre. Now just to address something, I know that most North American Kickstarter backers have not received their game. I am in North America. I contacted Plastcraft Games. I got them to ship it to me. I did have to pay extra and I did have to pay duties. So if you're wondering why it's here, that's why it's here. In any case, let's move on. We're now going to talk about what you're going to be doing in this game. It is a game for 1 to 4 players. You're going to be trying to restore your society after a catastrophe. Each player has an animal companion. You're going to be going through certain missions, well, different sets of missions. You got some in Mankind Reborn, you got some in Titans Unleashed, as you must complete the objectives in order to restore the Earth and complete the campaign. Now, with that being said, we're going to go over to the top-down camera, take a look at what's in these boxes, as well as in the Kickstarter exclusives. The boxes just weren't as nice, so I don't have them propped out in front of me. So, here we go. Let's take a look at what's in the box for EXO Mankind Reborn. Let's slide this over here. Now we've got the rule book. I did get some Kickstarter exclusives that were loose that I did throw in there. Not too bad. Lots of scenarios in here. So there's a 1 to 2 player campaign. It also looks like in the back there is a 3 to 4 player campaign. Some nice references on the back. And overall we have about, looks to be about 10 pages of rules or so. Let's take a look at what we got here. Here are some cards, some tribesmen. Not quite sure how they fit into the game. Got a tracking sheet. I'm guessing it's for the 4 different players. We have some more cards. Packaging is loose, so this shouldn't be overly difficult with regards to getting open compared to our struggles with Cthulhu. But you know what? Completely missed it. Easy to open packaging. That I do like. So we've got some different cards. Looks to be events, items, more items, a few more ones over here. We've got these robots, which I believe are the allies for the players, plus then our starting players and their allies. So let's just take a look, see if there's anything different on the back. Nope. So these cards are double-sided. Yeah, we can clearly see that these are an exploration type card. Even though they're different colors, I guess they all get mixed together. And then these look to be event cards. So we'll set that off to the side. Actually, we'll put these with that, as I don't want to lose them. Here we've got 4 different colors of plastic gems. They do relate to the track right here. So I believe that they're used for that. Put this off to the side. Here we've got a whole slew of different colored and different shaped meeples. I won't go through all of them. I'll just grab a handful so you can see them a little bit better than in the plastic bag. Now I'm guessing these have to do with different resources, locations, and things like that that we're going to be scouting and potentially acquiring throughout the course of the game. Here we have some more cards. I must commend them for that easy to use packaging. Looks like we've got our reference cards here. Some more enemies, actually. Let's take a look at the back of the different enemies. Oh, these are insects. So there's different types of enemies. Let's take a look at the back of the cards, actually. We'll separate it. So all different kinds of enemies, scorpions, flying insects that we're going to be facing throughout the campaign. These are going to be, I'm guessing, attack cards based on some of the iconography that we see on them, as well as potential health of the minions. We'll take the human ones and add them in to this stack. Here we've got, looks to be some more events, specifically to, some of them are like absolute 0. So I'm not sure if these are different than the ones that we already have, but what I'm going to do is I'll put them with this stack here. I'm going to have to reorganize everything anyway. And one thing that I do really like that sorry, these got off camera. I'll just toss them back in the box. I want to try to keep everything on camera. We did get some handy dandy plastic storage bags included from Plastcraft. I do always appreciate it when companies include stuff to help us organize the game. We've got 2 dice, 6-sided die, different colors. Not sure what the differences are, but it's always nice to have different colored dice. Makes it easier to assign different characteristics to them. All right, actually, I'll just move this off camera. So here we've got our attack die. So we can see, looks to be like a crit, regular hit, and then defense. We get a total of 6 of those in the game. Move these off camera as well. Here we've got the minis, and we'll go through that in just a second. I want to take a quick look at what we have in terms of components. So we got a lot of different cardboard components here. These look to be tracks. We can punch out this whole board, actually. I'm going to do that right now, just a little easier. I want to get a little bit of an idea. So yeah, these are different tracks. Almost looks like it's a player board where we can keep track of different things throughout our campaign. And I do find it interesting that there is a 3 and a 4 player campaign in, sorry, a 3-4 player and a 1-2 player campaign. That's not something that we often see. Usually it's just one campaign with different variable player counts. So this is definitely a tracking board. And sorry, the tokens were just a little difficult to get out. A lot of wasted space on these sheets, but should make storage and things like that a little easier. I'm going to move this off to the side quickly, and we'll take a look at the different tiles, the landscapes, where we're going to be exploring in EXO Mankind Reborn. This looks to be our base of operations here. I do like the fact that everything's double-sided. I'll lower that down a little bit, get a better look. So another tile, different locations. Looks like there are some ancient ruins. So those little pieces of detail, some of the hexagons that are on there, I do like. It's going to be interesting to see how that comes into play with all the mechanics. We see volcano, city at the base of the volcano. Definitely like the art. It is a little simplistic, but I think it suits the overall feel of the game. I've got a whole slew of different tokens. Some of the ones that we saw that were hexagons. Not quite sure what the round ones are. These look to be some tracking tokens that we have here. Maybe some extra dice. Here we've got more player boards. So yeah, the one I just punched out that you saw fully punched was a player board. We've got what looks to be some abilities, things like that. The drones that we can acquire. We've got another player board, so we've seen 3 of them so far. We've got some more tokens, some hexagon ones, still going certain locations. Not sure what these ones are, but they've got that EXO symbol. And then lastly, we have the last player board and some more. Looks to be upgrades or character-specific tokens related to the player board. I'd assume the orange goes with the orange board. Now we've taken a look at all of those components. Let's take a look at the minis. And I took a quick peek, and I gotta say I'm not overly impressed with the packaging. I had a similar packaging for Skull Tales and really didn't like it. So these are the bases for your characters as well as their animal companion. And as you can see, everything's moved around. I'm definitely going to get rid of the foam. It's great for really just like shipping the game, but afterwards it just becomes a giant pain in the butt. Maybe I'll keep it, maybe I'll cut it. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use it to store the minis. In the shipping box, a lot of foam came as well, and I'll make a better storage solution. It might even let me get some of the expansions. As you see, there's just tons of room here into the box. So let's see, we've got our bear. Now, I definitely don't have all the character names, but you can just sort of see how they fit on there with one of their allies, well, their partner. So that's pretty cool. We'll take a look at how detailed the minis are. Lots of detail on the bear. If you do like painting. I definitely think you'll enjoy these miniatures. We've got one of the female characters here. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on all their names. Well, you know what? We've got them there. Let's say it properly. So that's Little Joe. And we'll move that over there. His partner is Desmond, who I'll try to find, but it seems to be hiding. There's Desmond. So we've got Little Joe and Desmond. I'll just put them together. Next, we've got Nurasil, who is the eagle, right here. Another highly detailed miniature. Plastcraft definitely does a good job. There's also some texture on the base, which is something we don't often see on minis. Then we've got Yuri with his bow. And I don't quite see... Here's Yuri with his bow. The bow does sort of mesh in, which would make painting it fairly difficult. But I will say that having it like this makes it far less likely to be damaged. We've got a koala bear who's absolutely adorable. Now this mini is, they probably should have done something different. I get why they wanted the tree, not that detailed. You can't really see too much on the koala bear. Fairly difficult to paint, I'm guessing, but still, he's so cute on his character card. We've got Claire, who's his partner right here. At least this looks to be the closest thing to her that we've got. Or maybe, no, with the high collar. No, this one here is Claire. So we've got Claire right here. Next we've got Sherrick, the lion, and he just looks great. He's very different than Little Joe, though. Like, a lot less texture to him, but it's still a fun mini. Tail does seem a little bit fragile on the back, so keep that in mind. We then have his partner, who is Kendra. And Kendra is right here with the spear. I've got this mini right here, who I'm guessing will be a villain or maybe our leader, not quite sure. Next, we've got the different insects. For example, we've got one of the mini scorpions. A lot of detail, looks pretty cool. We have a larger scorpion here as well. The giant dragonflies, which looks to be, this is like the boss one. Lots of detail on the minis. Here we have the smaller ones. Pretty cool and good looking as well. Now, we've got some of these smaller beetles. You've got one of the larger beetles, so I'm guessing the boss beetle. Pretty cool. Then we've got the centipede and the mini centipedes. Now, I was going to show something separately, but after going through everything in the box, apologies for the quick fade there. We were a little low on battery, didn't realize it. As I was saying, we're going to take a quick look at the Bug Swarm pack, because this is an expansion that I bought. I don't necessarily want to go through it all again, and also I'm just going to kind of throw all of these minis back in as I sort them. So what you get with the Bug Swarm pack essentially is just more of the same minis that you have here. As you can see, we've got centipedes, more of the centipedes. And the reason for getting this add-on really is just so that you have enough enemies for the game. It's one of the comments that I did see when I was looking at finalizing my pledge was you might want to get the extra miniatures just to make sure. Now, some of you might be wondering why I'm just kind of tossing everything in. Well, don't worry. We've got plenty of foam, lots of things that I can do. I'm going to be very careful with this as I box it all back up, but just don't need to have this extra box around. And with all of the nice baggies and a few other things, it'll be a great way to repackage everything. So we'll just lie everything down and be very careful as to what we're going to do. I did the same thing with Skull Tales, and it really let me take what was a game that was spread across a few boxes and get it all into a box, which I much rather prefer than having just tons and tons of boxes. As a reviewer and just a gamer in general, more and more space is becoming something that I value. And if something comes into the collection, essentially something will need to go out, and reboxing and reorganizing pretty much becomes a way of life. Now we'll place this stuff back on the top. As you can see, plenty of extra room for some more content. We're going to take a look at the Kickstarter stretch goal box next, which is, oh, almost forgot the dice. Oh, something made noise. Ah, it was this. I ended up throwing it in the top, which is the Titans Unleashed box, which may or may not all end up here if there's a way to do it. Not quite sure yet, but keep it right here, and we're going to be coming back at you with the Titans Unleashed box. Now let's take a look at what's in the Titans Unleashed box for EXO-Mankind Reborn. Alright, now we've got the rule book, which is in Spanish, English, and German. It does give rules for the Titans Unleashed expansion campaign. Pretty cool. We do get some new territory. Well, I do like that whirlpool there. Seeing those frozen wastes. That's a neat set of islands. Volcano. More volcano. And I'm not quite sure what that is, but it should fit in nicely. We definitely have some tracks here for different player characters. As you can see, corresponds to the 4 colors that we have in the game. Now we've got another set of cards. See, it looks like a new type of enemy or tracking that we're going to see right here, almost like an ice worm, frozen dragonfly, flaming scorpion, pretty scary stuff. We've got, so all these are in Spanish that I'm seeing right here. And do not see, oh, it looks like there's Spanish, English. You've got all 3 versions of the cards in your box. You can keep them, recycle them if you so choose. Probably going to keep them all just in case any card gets damaged. But I was just curious what we have there. So it's definitely just standard cards and then the event cards in a few different languages. Afterwards, the only other thing we have here, which I'll have to try to get into the main box because I really want everything in one box, are the big bad new bosses. So the nice thing about these guys though is they're solid. I'm not too worried about storing them with something else. So we've got the giant dragonfly. Not as much detail as I would like on the rock, but very cool. A terrifying titan. Here we've got the scorpion, and this has a ton of detail. I really love all the texture, the way everything looks. Very cool mini. I'm sure you could also use it in a D&D game if you so choose. We've got this big bad scorpion. Everything's very solid. Nothing's fragile. It is glued together here, so just be careful. It is a 2-piece mini, which makes sense. It couldn't be crafted in one mold. Very good looking. And then lastly, the giant beetle, which is almost reminds me of something from, it looks like we got some glue fibers that are on it, because as you can see, it's 2 pieces. So not sure if this was probably was assembled by hand, not by machine, but still very good mini. Lots of detail, lots of texture on it. It is very simple, probably fairly easy to paint with some contrast paints. For the moment, I'm just gonna cram these guys back into their box. It's not gonna stay that way though. Seeing how solid they are, they'll definitely be worked into the main box somehow as I figure out how to cut down on the game's usage of space. I guess he's got to fit sort of like this. Oh, that doesn't make much sense. Close enough. You know what? Forget it. Let's not cram them back in here. You're just getting a good example as to why I absolutely hate this packaging. Great for shipping, completely useless for just about anything else. Probably keep this foam somewhere. Much easier to just box back up like this in terms of getting everything back together. This box is much tighter than the base game. There we go. We can place the cards back in here. Everything back together. All right, so there you have it. The Titans Unleashed campaign stretch goals box from the Kickstarter. Now, keep it right here, as we're going to come back at you with the rest of the expansions. Now let's take a look at the add-ons that you can get for EXO, Mankind Reborn. Now here we've got the war game scenery, the terrain. It is not cardboard, it's plastic. Took it apart to just try to see about potentially assembling it, and not quite sure exactly how to put this all together. It does fit fairly well, but I'm pretty sure that piece doesn't go there. But in any case, you can get some 3D scenery. I ordered it because wasn't going to be ordering anything else through Plastcraft. Much easier to get it once than trying to import it again from Spain. Here we've got some of the different characters that I'll be definitely adding into the main box. Now, this one came, unfortunately, opened. The character was damaged, but very cool reindeer. I actually really like it. We've got Jane, her Inuit companion, and I'm just going to get rid of this box because it's definitely not being kept. So we've got Jane and Snowmane, and then we've got the reference cards for them. Here, I'll probably get rid of all of these boxes actually. I won't put them back in. There, so we've got Enzilla and Oku. So very cool. Reference card for both of the characters as well. Let's take a look at the minis. Not that much to Enzilla, which is a little disappointing. Just that modification to his tail. You can't really see sort of that mechanical aspect around the jaw. And then we've got Oku. Very, very solid miniature. Lots of texture and detail to him. And now let's take a look at Daku and Oz. I do love how the Oz is a kangaroo. I mean, it better be that way if I'm not mistaken. So we've got the two minis. Do like the kangaroo, looks very cool. Definitely think that Daku's got a lot of detail. Love the staff. Solid minis that we're getting in this game. No complaints there. So yeah, Daku and Oz. And once again, we get the reference cards. And now let's take a look at what we've got in the box here. So we've got, which are a little fragile, these replacements for the tokens for each of the characters, your drone, your assistant. I'll have to find a nice way to package that up. Then here we've got the 3D terrain. I'm not going to take all of these things out of plastic, but as you can see, we've got just sort of like pile of rubble, equipment. We've got, actually I'll get a couple more out. There are some other ones. We've got this crystal rock formation here. So some cool stuff. And then lastly in this bag we've got a whole slew. I'm knocking over my minis. That's all right. We've got a slew of different things that are going to pop up. These hexagons. It almost looks like they may replace some of the tokens that we had in terms of what they can do. We've got, looks to be maybe like egg sacs, things like that. These hexagons, not quite sure. And there's quite a few of them in here. I don't want to pull everything out. We've got sort of a multiple one, which looks to be like a pretty cool catch. And all this stuff here is just, you know, a little bit of flavor, a little bit of 3D terrain to add some dimension to the game. None of it's necessary. I'll definitely try to figure out how to get it into the main box. But there you have it. We've finished going through all the content that is available for EXO Mankind Reborn. And I'll keep it right here once I get this box sealed up. I'm going to be coming back at you with a quick outro. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw, Don't forget to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well, because YouTube will then let you know when our next video is released and you'll want to see a review of EXO-Mankind Reborn. Hopefully that will be coming within a couple of weeks. There's a lot of content in here, so I'm not sure when we will finish the game. We like to do full campaign playthroughs. Also, down below in the video description, if you want to see us playing EXO-Mankind Reborn, take a look at all of our social media feeds. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram will have plenty of pictures up from different games arriving, games that we've been playing, and also eventually from EXO-Mankind Reborn. You can also leave a comment below, let us know what you liked about the video, and don't forget, keep playing games.